That part one was Andrew, when we're ready.
Philip, the news today that you signed an extended contract. Can you just tell us a bit about how that came about?
Okay, that's a long story, I think. I don't know how much time you have. It starts with coming in a building in October, when there's a lot of fire in the building and there was a lot of negativity. So at that moment your focus is to change that, to put the fires down, to work with resources that are in the building, to get the results better, to change also the interaction between players and fans, club and fans at that moment. So all the focus was on that, and I think everybody in the building did a good job in that way. So there was a turnaround in a positive way. And along the way you see more and more things, and you discuss more and more about everything that I think this club can do better, or the things that were good, both. And we had a lot of discussions around that the last couple of months, more and more with the board, with the chairman, with the people in the building. And then at the end of the season, you come to the conclusion that what I said to all of you also, that it was in many ways an end of a cycle. Yet, of course, the situation with the 6 players end of contract, where we wanted to resign some, but they chose for places where they could pay more money, or there were older players that was better to replace them by younger ones. We had discussions about recruitment, how to do that, how to have it also more in a way that you don't come in situation that 6 players are leaving the building for £0 and you need to replace them by 6 players that cost money. So it was a crazy situation. To think more longer term in those things, to create also added value out of players trading, because it was not done the years before. That you need to look at those kind of potentials also, but you need to keep a balance in a squad. We talked about all those things. We talked about why we had so many injuries. We talked about infrastructure, about a lot of things. Doesn't mean that I was involved with the stadium or something, that you don't think about that. More the infrastructure here. And in that way, you feel aligned with the people who are decide things here in the club, with the chairman, with the boards, with Craig, with Niels around things. Doesn't mean that we always agree about everything. No, that's not true, but it would not be healthy also. So there are really open, transparent, strong discussions about things, and at the end we come to one conclusion, and we all go for that. So that's been the case in these 7 months together, and then I think at the end of May we had more and more talks, and you feel the alignment. And then the club said that they wanted to be sure that I would stay for the longer term, that they wanted that in many ways, not only to coach a team or to train a team, but also for the other things around. To have ideas, to discuss, to work around that. And I feel good here. I love this place, I love this club, I love the city, I love the fans, I love the atmosphere in Ibrox, or the fans who are in the away games. So it was my feeling also to do it longer term, and not to sit and wait until something more interesting comes in my mind. No, I really want to give all my best every second for this club, because I love to be here. So we decided that end of May, and then it's about how can you put that in a contract, that it's for both sides in a good way, and that you feel that you think the same way.
You mentioned coming to the end of a cycle last season. How close do you feel you are to getting the squad to where you want it going into this season?
We're still yeah, it's difficult to use the right words. I'm 200% sure we're gonna be much better in October and November, December, and the months coming after. That's normal. If you see how many players left the building, how many players came into the building, how many young players we brought also in, who still needs to learn things. So in that way, it's a squad with a lot of potential, more potential than there was last season. And for sure with the things we still want to do. So that's also the idea, to improve as a club and to become better. Does it mean that tomorrow we're gonna see the best Rangers and better than last season? I think you will see some interesting things. I'm confident about that, but we're not there yet that we are at our best now. But that's asking the impossible.
Is that a case of maybe patience being needed in the early stages of the campaign just because there is so many changes over the summer?
It's logical, yes, that there needs to be patience, but it doesn't mean that some things can click really fast. So that's always the challenge. You have players who adapt really fast and who step into the building, and a week later they show their best football. You have players who need weeks, some players need months to get used to things. So I don't know one manager in the world who can predict that. That's impossible to do. So of course we need time. It's with the team also. The way we want to play, it's in a structured way, with the ball and without the ball. So that means you need to get experience out of that. You need to you make faults and you learn out of that. It's like a book. Every day it's a page. Every week there are a few pages, and the book becomes thicker and thicker. So in that way, it's easier if you have the 7 months. You keep the core that you had, and you add with a few new signings to make it better. Then we would be further now. But the club was in another moment, with the contracts, also with the age of players, with their level, because we had several players who are going down in form instead of growing in form. So it's another moment. So you need a little bit of time to fit the puzzle in every sense.
Philippe, you've added Robin Proper to your team. What's he going to bring?
He's going to bring leadership. He's going to bring coaching qualities on the pitch. He's going to give a good example for the younger players how to be professional. And he has really good qualities on the ball also. So he's going to help us also to play a good kind of football.
Is he also a good example of the type of strategies that this club might have to use in terms of getting an established, experienced player for relatively small fee?
Yes, you need to be on top of things. So you need to be inventive. So we know we don't have the biggest budget, so you need to use all the resources to find opportunities in the market in that way, who have the quality here to make the project better. And then I don't speak only about himself and what he does on the pitch, but also the things around. Having somebody like him is gold for players like Clinton and Asiala. It's the same way why we recently on Belgium. It's not only to play his games or to be a part on the pitch, but also off the pitch. And it's important to create a culture here, a top sport culture, really demanding culture, where everybody is every day on their toes, where they come with a lot of ambition to become better. And then if we can create this culture, it's our task as a staff to give them all the tools to develop every day and to challenge them. So you need the people with the right mentality coming into the building. So yeah, we had a lot of talks with these players before they came in, also about that, about themselves, about their past, about their experiences, but also what Rangers is about. This is a special place to come to. You love it or you hate it. I love it, that's why I want to stay.
Is he good to go tomorrow, or is that going to take time?
We don't know yet, because I don't think all the papers are already arranged. The good thing is that physically he's ready to play games, so he had a normal preparation with Twente, who trained at a good level. We saw all the numbers there, and he played enough games. So, but of course he needs to adapt also in the way we want to play, because it's different than the Twente.
In terms of bringing in any more players, would you like to bring in more like him, more with experience, do you think?
It depends from position to position. That's another part of the story, because, like I said in the beginning, we can talk a few days about what we talked about the last few months. There are so many things we need to do as a club, but you need to first have a vision together, what to do and how to do it, and about that we are aligned. I think one of the important points of this club also is to reduce the amount of loans, because you come every season, if you have several of those, you come every season in a situation that or the loan was not good and the player drops off the last few months because he's not interested. Luckily, we didn't have that one last season. Or they do well and they become, because of that, too expensive to keep them here in the building. I think Sima is a good example of that for the moment. So I think it needs to be also an ambition of us to try to reduce that year by year. It's not with one transfer window that we can fix all the things from the past. That's impossible. So you need time for that, and that's what we want to do together.
Last few, please.
And in terms of departures, do you envisage any more players going out? Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about James Tavernier. Have there been any bids for him at all, can you tell us?
Not that I know, because probably they're going to tell me at the end if there's a bid that is big enough for a club. So I don't know every bid that comes in. I don't want to know also, because it's not interesting for me. What's interesting for me is what players show in the trainings and in the games. And Tav has shown that all the time that he wants to play here. So there's no difference for me.
Philippe, how far away is the squad to the squad that you need before we start?
1 month?
No, in terms of
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. No, we're gonna see. Yeah, we still have several positions where you have the ambition to make it better. We will see with the budget how we can do it in a good way. I spoke about loans. I spoke about getting players in. I spoke about opportunities. Normally, for the amount of money that we pay now for Proper, you can never get it. It's because he had a situation last year where the club stopped him by going, and he had a clause in his contract. So those things are also important in that way that I cannot know for the moment. So what I know for the moment is that everybody in the club does everything at their maximum to get the best squad possible now with this transfer window. Everybody's doing that. I feel the support of the board, but it doesn't mean that we just can spend whatever we want. That's not the case. We know the reality in that way. We know clearly how it is. We also all together made some money free out of the club by having lower wages now for players coming in than for players who were here, for example. So we need to be very inventive to create a budget in that way, with the support also from the board and the investors, who's been helping as much as they can. So we will see in the next couple of weeks what more we can do.
Last live question for Stephen.
Philippe, congratulations on the new deal. Just ahead of tomorrow, how does the squad look, and how excited are you to finally be back to proper action and get ready to start?
I feel a lot of excitement this week. So yesterday I even had to stop some guys who are so excited that they were really into the tackles. That was not necessary at that moment. So no, there's a really good vibe in the building. I feel a really hungry squad to show themselves. We will see with the new players. You know the situation with Robin, I explained that already. With Václav, he's available with the papers to play, but he's just training. So he came out of the Euros, had 4 weeks holiday, and then he just trained a few days here. So we need to be smart with him also. And the rest of the team, who was already longer here, who were here already last season, they're very hungry. So I'm looking forward to it.
Is Dujon fit and available?
No, he will not be fit for tomorrow. I hope to get him fit for Tuesday, but for tomorrow not yet.
Okay, guys, section